got a number of players on the tier list, all players that Spurs have been linked to so far this summer. The tiers are terrible signing, no thanks, wouldn't complain, good signing, and unreal signing. And the first player we're going to look at is Bryan Mbeumo.
Yeah, I think goes into unreal signing.
Yeah.
I think he would be a must. He's a guy who's improving year on year in the Prem. Just had a season where he got 27 goal contributions in the Prem. Imagine he'd done that for Tottenham. That would be phenomenal. So Frank knows him. I think it ticks all the boxes, really.
Yeah, completely agree. Classy player, improving year on year. Unbelievable. Frank's kind of built him up to the player that he is. And if he does join Spurs, I feel like Frank can keep him on that trajectory as well. So Mbeumo goes into unreal signing. Next up is João Pedro. Very interesting. Spurs have been linked with him over I think it was a week or so ago. Hothead, that's for sure. We've seen that this year for Brighton. He's an interesting player because he's not kind of like an out-and-out number 9. I think he'd be really good in like kind of a 3-5-2 system, playing off a kind of Dom Solanke, get Dom Solanke into better areas inside the box. I think he's really good at link-up play. A very clever player, João Pedro. I would like to see him get more goal contributions, to be honest. I'll probably put him in good signing.
Yeah, the only thing is he's going to command a big fee, isn't he? Yeah. And I don't know if right now I'd be paying a big fee for him, but I would say, yeah, good signing. I think he's done really well for Brighton. I think you can see there's a lot of quality there, and you also think he's still quite young, 23, and I think he's got a lot of scope to improve. So I'll go good signing.
Yeah, so João Pedro goes into good signing. Next up is Anthony Elanga of Nottingham Forest. Still young, really good attributes. I wouldn't say he's an unreal signing.
No. Don't put him in good either.
Yeah, I was going to say wouldn't complain.
I was saying, but would you complain?
No, I'm saying I wouldn't complain.
But I'm saying, would you complain if we signed?
No, I'm saying I wouldn't.
You wouldn't complain. You wouldn't.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I wouldn't complain.
You wouldn't complain. So you put him in wouldn't complain. Would I complain? I might complain. I don't know if I'd complain. Would I complain? Or is Elanga enough? Elanga, Johnson, Son, Tell, Odebear. I think I would be complaining about that.
You would be complaining.
Yeah, probably.
I think he's a player that can surprise a few people, though.
Yeah. Okay, wouldn't complain. Wouldn't complain.
Who's that next?
Semenyo.
Yeah, I think Semenyo goes into good signing.
I agree.
I think he's like a kind of level below Mbeumo, but I do feel like if we bring in Semenyo, we could see different attributes in a Spurs side under a Frank, under his tenureship. I feel like Semenyo could go up levels under. And I feel like in a couple of years, looking back on it, we'll be like, how could we put him in good signing? He could be an unreal signing for us.
Yeah.
But I would say for now, from what we've seen at Bournemouth, a good signing.
I agree. I think has the potential to go up a level, but right now, yeah, good signing especially the price and what he currently offers.
Next up is Eberechi Eze. I mean, look, we know where this guy's going. He's going straight into unreal signing. What a player Eberechi Eze is. Been linked with Spurs so many times now over the last couple of summers. Left wing, cam. I think he would fit in really well as well. He would get a lot of minutes in this team. Such quality about him. I just love watching this guy play. I really do. And we should move heaven and earth to go sign this guy, I'm telling you. Yeah,
absolutely. I think phenomenal player. He's been doing it for so long in the Premier League now. This guy needs a big move. I just hope it doesn't, what happens to Zaha doesn't happen to him, where if he just got that move earlier, who knows where he could have been at. I know Zaha did get the move to United earlier, but I think there was a point where Zaha was playing at a really high level, but they had like Hodgson in charge and they had his other managers, and they kept playing this defensive football, and you never truly got the best out of him, and he always had to do everything by himself. And if he was at a different club where he had a bit more support, I guess Eze's right now is a bit different, I guess, because he's playing for Glasner. He's really taking his game on another level. But I just hope we get to see him at a top club playing at his best.
The thing is, the peculiar thing about Eze is he's had this release clause for Champions League teams for the last 2 summers now, this summer and last summer. No one's really gone there and pushed a boat out for him, which surprises me with the talent that he does have. And now we are in the Champions League. You can get him for 60 plus 8. I think you have to pay the 60 up front, but for me, a price like that for someone of his ability is a no-brainer. And I think Spurs should be getting that deal done.
And I know, for the first half of the season, he wasn't at his best, but that form he showed last 3 months was dynamite. He was one of the best players in the league for those last 3 months. So I think he's a top talent. Yeah, I'd love him at Tottenham. Unreal.
Next up is Tyler Dibbling. Look, I like Dibbling, I really do, and I believe that he can be a top player one day. But for where we're at right now and what we need, I'll probably say no thanks.
No thanks. No thanks. I'm all right. I don't think he'd be a bad signing, but again, he might take a while to get to his best. It's just right now, it's a no thanks. It's going to be a lot. It could take a lot of money out of our budget for a player who isn't ready right now for Champions League football and all these different things. So, no thanks.
However, in like 3 or 4 years' time, we could be looking back at this tier list and be like, what were we talking about? Because this guy could really be a top winger.
Agreed.
Next up is Johan Wissa of Brentford. I really like Wissa. I wouldn't move heaven and earth to sign him. However, if we were to sign him, let's say after selling a Richarlison, I would not complain whatsoever.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't say great signing. Obviously, he's really taken his game on a lot last season, 19 Premier League goals. But obviously, Frank got the best out of him. I think that goal tally, I don't know if he's going to hit that again. I'll be surprised. I'll be very surprised if he does. So, but he could. But he's got 28 now. He's getting on a bit. I don't think he's the highest quality, but I think Frank might work miracles to get that goal tally out.
Yeah, and Frank also talked about in, I think, the High Performance podcast about the leadership ability that he does have within the squad, and I think he could be a really good asset for us in terms of a squad player, rotating with Solanke, maybe even filling in on the wings at some point as well. You know, when you're talking about boosting the levels of the squad, I do think he does that.
I don't know. Is he much better than Richarlison? Quality-wise?
I mean, I can't see Richarlison getting the level of output that he got last season.
If they played the same, well, yeah, maybe not actually. But I don't think quality-wise Wissa's much better than him. I don't think he improves.
I just feel like in the job that he does for the team, I just feel like he's a better fit than a Richarlison.
Maybe. I'm not convinced by that.
But I mean, 19 goals last season.
I know, he did phenomenal.
Unbelievable. But anyway, Wissa, we're going to put in to wouldn't complain. Next up is Marcus Rashford, which is going to be interesting. Up and down his whole career, really. A player with immense talent. Went to Villa, seemed like he had a weight lifted off his shoulders. I still thought like he could have done a bit better at Villa in terms of his output. I wouldn't be like dying to sign Marcus Rashford. I do think it would be a decent signing, but for me, I'd still put him in wouldn't complain.
No thanks for me.
No thanks.
No thanks.
You would complain?
I would complain.
Why would you complain?
I just don't think where we're at right now, a player like Rashford, we need like... I know he did all right at Villa, but I think for us right now, I don't think we can risk where we are on a player like Marcus Rashford. In my opinion, I just think.
What if we were to get him on loan for a season? You would still complain?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't want him on loan. I'd rather sign someone who's playing well right now. I know he had a decent loan spell at Villa. And I did think he played quite well at Villa, but
so he is playing well right now.
Well, he got an injury late on in the season. I think there's just too many question marks for me about Rashford right now.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but the thing is, like, he does have immense quality at 27 years of age as well. I do feel like he just needs, getting out of Manchester United as well is going to be big for him, and I think he can, go up levels and get back to the heights that he did reach. I don't see Spurs signing him because of the wages and stuff, but if we were to sign him, I just don't think... I guarantee you, if Spurs were to sign Rashford, you would be drilling into the data and being so excited about it.
Probably, but that's look. You got.
So that means you wouldn't complain
if we sign him. You got to back him. But right now, I don't think it's the right signing for us. I don't think it's the right fit, in my opinion. I just think I don't know if it's worth the risk. Like we should be spending money. Signing players who we think right now are at the top of their game. I just don't know if he's there at that right now.
Do you not think Frank can get him back there?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. But also maybe not.
Yeah. It is a risk. It's a massive risk signing Marcus Rashford. I'd prefer it on a loan spell, try before you buy kind of thing with Rashford, because I just think he's got immense quality. But Yeah, look, I'm not too bothered putting him in no thanks, but I probably wouldn't complain if we were to sign him.
I just say no thanks. No, I'm all right, thank you.
All right, no thanks to Marcus. Next up is Jack Grealish, another player who's just got unbelievable amounts of quality. I've always looked at Grealish being like, this guy is a proper Tottenham player. Just a bit similar to Marcus Rashford, just a bit been off the boil for some time. Does he have I mean, I don't know, like, I guess I would get excited if we were to sign him, but thinking about it now, I'll probably just say no thanks.
Yeah, as well. I think no thanks again. I think he's good. I wouldn't be saying it's disgraceful if we do sign him, but right now I'd pass an opportunity. He's had a really weird last 2 seasons, barely played much, barely scored or assisted much at all. I think he's got, in his last 2 seasons combined, he's got 6 goal contributions. I know he's never really made his game about that, but still that's a really low figure even for someone like Grealish for 2 seasons combined. He's won everything there is to win. Has he lost that little bit of hunger now? That's what I'm worried about for Grealish. Maybe he needs to go somewhere he's the main man, and I don't know if Tottenham's that place right now.
Yeah, I agree. Next up is Javi Simons of RB Leipzig. Unbelievable quality about him. Is rumours about kind of attitude issues that he's got. I think he is fairly gettable for a team that wants to push the bat out for him, with Leipzig not being in Champions League football, and he wants to be in Champions League football. I think if you've got the opportunity to sign him, you go and sign him, and I think it would be an unreal signing.
Yeah, I think he's phenomenal talent. He's one of those players where the opportunity to get someone of his ability doesn't come along too often, and I think he's been really great since he's gone to Leipzig. He's shown his ability in the Champions League as well. He's still like 22. I think he's versatile as well. I think he's just such a phenomenal talent. Yeah, I would get him in. Unreal.
Next up is Alejandro Garnacho of Manchester United, and straight for me, I think he's a decent player. He's got good attributes about him, and I think he's still young and he's got levels to go up, and I think he could be an unbelievable player one day, but yeah, his attitude stinks. I'm going for no thanks.
Yeah, I think terrible signing. Even.
I don't think it'd be a terrible.
I just don't think it'd be a good signing for us. I think we'll get frustrated as much as Man United fans are getting frustrated with him. I think, look, he's got some ability, but he's also a very frustrating player. But then again, he's
20 years of age, man.
I know, but still, for the fee they're asking, 70 million, it would be a terrible signing to spend that amount of money on him. You know what I mean? If it was cheaper, maybe, but like 70 million would be ridiculous. And apparently that's the reported fee.
I feel like if he could put his attitude to one side and Spurs gave him a proper opportunity, I think he could actually do really well here. And I think as well, Frank can probably take him up a few levels if he's willing to put that effort in. But I just feel like with the attitude that he does have, I just don't want to see him at the club. If we were to sign him, I don't think it would be that much of a terrible signing. I think the boy's clearly got so much talent, and it just takes for someone to harness that talent and channel his mind in a better way. I think he can work here. I really believe that, but I just don't want to see us sign him because of that attitude. So I'd say no thanks.
All right, no thanks.
So Garnacho goes into no thanks. Next up is Christopher Nkunku. One of the most sought-after players when Chelsea got him at RB Leipzig, playing as second striker. I just don't feel... I mean, maybe under Frank in a 3-5-2 he could work playing that kind of second striker role, but I don't know. His time at Chelsea has swayed me off him massively.
Yeah, for me. He's been horrendous at Chelsea, let's be honest. I know he's been all right in some Conference League group games, but after that, he's been really terrible. I know he's been injured and he's had bad injury problems. I think he'll just come here and it will just go wrong. I think it'd be a terrible signing.
I agree.
I'm not confident at all that Nkunku would come here and start killing it again.
But the reality is you'll be signing him in a replacement for Richarlison, right? If we were to sign him. And he's got just as bad injury problems as Richarlison. So what's the point? So terrible.
Exactly. I think Richarlison offers a bit more when he's not scoring. Unlike Nkunku, he seems to be just very anonymous.
Yeah, terrible signing for Christopher Nkunku. Next up, after that, is Jared Branthwaite of Everton. I love this guy. I think he's a top player in the making. I think he's the future of the English centre-backs. I think he's going to be an unbelievable player. can play left centre-back, can play right centre-back as well. Predominantly has played left centre-back for Everton, but he can use his right foot, so that tells me, I mean, there's no reason why he can't play on right centre-back. And if we are to sell Coutinho Romero, I'd love to see us bring him in, to be honest, and he can cover for Mickey van der Ven at left centre-back as well. I think he'd be an unreal signing for us.
I don't know if I'd go as far as unreal. I think there's a bit of glazing going on there. I think he's been brilliant for Everton. I really like him. I think he needs to show a different side to his game if he's going to be at a top club rather than just a club like Everton where they've been playing the kind of style they have. And he has to prove that. But he has been really impressive and he's very young. Yeah, I think it'd be a good signing. I don't know about unreal.
I'm happy to put him into good signing. I just love him as a player. I just love watching him play. And I think if he played in a more attacking style as well, I think he could really suit it. I really believe that. But who's next? Next up, we have got Collins. Nathan Collins of Brentford.
The thing is, I want to put him in wouldn't complain, but everyone would complain if we were to sign him. But then is no thanks harsh, given that apparently he is a lot better than people say he is. Everyone's saying Collins. A lot of people saying he's good.
I'm putting him in no thanks.
No thanks.
I just can't, for the life of me, think we're going to sell Coutinho Romero and bring in Collins to replace him.
And no one complains.
Yeah, exactly.
Complain. All right, no thanks. As much as maybe he can prove everyone wrong right now, it's more your name, mate. If your name was Nathan Collino, mate, it would be an unreal signing. But you're an Irish centre-back playing with Bazunu. Like, I don't know if we can put you... Unfortunately, it's just PR, mate. It's just PR. Sorry, Nathan.
Morgan Gibbs-White. I think he's a really good... I love Morgan Gibbs-White. I think top players, had a top season, leadership ability as well. I'll put him in... I'd say good signing.
Yeah, I wouldn't quite... I think he could be an unreal signing, but I'm looking at Eze and Buemo and Simons. I'm like, is Morgan Gibbs-White on that level? I think he's not far off it, but I just don't know if he's quite there.
Yeah, I mean, look, if Gibbs-White was to come in, I would get super excited. Yeah. And I'd be probably more excited for Morgan Gibbs-White than I would be a João Pedro, potentially even a Semenyo and a Branthwaite. But my excitement levels would be a lot more for Eze, Simons and Mbeumo.
Yeah, I think
it kind of needs to be a tier between unreal signing and good signing, and he would fit that. But you got to be harsh in this tier list. So I think good signing.
I agree. I think it'd be a good signing. Oh no, it's Damsgaard. We haven't done him yet.
Oh, Damsgaard next. I love Damsgaard as a player as well. I think he's had a phenomenal season at Brentford. A real number 10 with some aggression to his game as well. He's
this
not an
season's been phenomenal.
Yeah, it really has. He's not an unreal signing.
No.
I mean, he would be a good signing, but he's probably a level below those players that are in good signings. So I probably would say wouldn't complain.
Yeah, wouldn't complain. I think he'd be a really good addition. Apparently, he's very, very important to like how Brentford play.
Yeah,
how Brentford played last season. But yeah, I think Maddison could do that role. So I don't know how necessary he would be, but he's been a really great player this season. He took a while to settle in at Brentford, but he did last season. He was actually fantastic. But yeah, I think that'd just be a wouldn't complain.
Next up is Evan Ndika of Roma. Very good player, left centre back. I would say he would be a good signing.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good signing. He's done really well for Roma. I think would be a good kind of backup for Van der Ven. Strong, he's athletic, decent on the ball as well. So yeah, I think it'd be a good signing.
Next up is Kim Min-jae of Bayern Munich. If you were to sell Romero and bring in Kim Min-jae, I think that would be a really good replacement, to be honest. And I'd actually put Kim Min-jae in unreal signing.
Unreal?
Yeah.
Wow. I think I'll put him, well...
You think about defenders, centre-backs on the market right now that's going to come in and replace Coutinho Romero. He would be near, if not the top of your list. Surely.
But are you basing off his time in Napoli?
Well, even this season at Bayern Munich, he's been decent. He's been really good, actually. It was just towards the end of it, he went off the boil a little bit, but he is a top-quality centre-back.
His overall time at Bayern hasn't been good.
His first year, I mean, the year under Tuchel, because he's not really a Tuchel defender, didn't really go well for him, and Dyer actually displaced him from the team. But I think he got back to those levels under Company.
I heard they weren't convinced by him.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he had a fairly good season, I thought.
From what I understand, he wasn't particular. Look, if you take his overall time, he hasn't been good. This season's been better, but still, you know, they might be looking to let him go.
I think it would be an unreal signing still.
I think good. I personally, I don't know about unreal. I don't know if I'd put him in that bracket. But then, yeah, who could we get who would be an unreal signing at centre-back, who's actually a realistic signing? He might be near the top, to be fair. I don't know if I can put him unreal, though. I wouldn't be like, wow, we've got Kim Min-jae. I would probably put him in good.
I'll begrudgingly accept, but I think if we were to sign him, I think you'll see a different side of his game, particularly under Frank. But look, we'll see. I don't think we're going to sign him anyway, so probably we'll never see. But good signing for him. Next up is Jan Bisek of Inter Milan. Probably, good signing.
Jan Bisek, he's done really well at Inter over the last couple of years, especially this season, on their route to the Champions League final. I think good signing.
He's been like, he kind of hasn't been like a mainstay in that back line. He's been in and out of the team a bit. And, you know, they are willing apparently to let him go, which, you know, what does that suggest to you? But and probably at a bit of a modest fee as well. They're talking about like 35 million or something like that. So I think he'd be a good player in terms of squad rotation and but do we really need another backup centre back? You know what I mean? Is he going to come in and be our first choice?
He could be. He's still quite young, and you know, he's playing at quite a high level. You know, at Inter, and how they're competing for titles and they're getting to Champions League finals, and he's been playing fairly regularly in that team.
He's been in and out the side. Like he's not been one of those players that have started, you know, every single game.
No, but he started a lot.
He's been on the bench a lot.
He's also started a lot. He started the final, didn't he? I know
he did start the final. But I don't think he started the semis.
Didn't he?
I don't think so.
Maybe
one of them.
I think he did start at least one of them. But yeah, I think he'd be a good signing.
I'm just trying to look, because I'm pretty sure he was on the bench for the semis, wasn't he? Who did they play in the semis? Barca. Just trying to look. He started the second leg.
He started 13.
He started both of them.
Yeah, he
did start both of them.
He started 13 Champions League games, 27 in the league.
Right. I thought he was on the bench quite a lot last season, but clearly not.
Yeah, I think clearly from what I can gather, he probably started all the Champions League games and was rested a bit in the league for the Champions League. So
right, good signing then. Coney De Winter up next. I mean, I don't really know too much about him, but I've heard he's a highly rated centre-back, so I'll probably just say wouldn't complain.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really say I know too much about him, but one of those where I look into him in the day will probably suggest he's an unreal signing, so I wouldn't complain.
Yeah. Oh, Bisek didn't start the final. He started the semi-finals, but not the final.
That's why they lost
5-0. Yeah. Next up is Tomori. No thanks and terrible signing.
Terrible, you reckon?
Yeah, we don't need Tomori.
I was going to say no thanks.
It's just not the signing that we need to be making right now. Like, Tomori's come and gone. Like, why would we be signing Tomori right now?
Yeah, only as a backup, really. If it's like to replace Romero, will be a really bad signing.
If we were to sign Tomori, it just signals the average levels of, you know what I mean? Like, there's just no need to sign Tomori.
Chat saying terrible signing.
Yeah, I would put him in terrible signing as well.
All right, then terrible signing.
Next up is João Palhinha of Bayern Munich. I think. I actually think it would be an unreal signing for us. You know, takes our midfield onto another level, a profile of midfielder that we don't have, Premier League experience, brilliant player.
I think he would be an unreal signing as well. It's funny, if it was Ange, I think it wouldn't be an unreal signing. But under Frank, I think he would be. I think he would be an unreal signing. I think he would add something that we're just missing in that midfield, and I think he'd be really good for us.
Yeah, I completely agree. And last but not least, who is that?
Norgard.
Christian Norgard of Brentford to finish off the tier list. And I mean, I don't think it would actually be. Maybe it would be. Terrible signing. I mean, I think like he would come in and do a job for us, but he's just not the player we need. I don't think he'll like flop here.
So that's a no thanks then.
But I just can't bring myself to say like anything but a terrible signing, because he's just not at the levels that we want.
Brian says he wouldn't complain about Norgard.
Wouldn't complain.
God, he's really leaving.
Brian just wants us to be Brentford 2.0.
I would say just no thanks. I think he would be. I think if he came in, he would be like an average signing. I don't think like he'd put in any stinkers, but I don't think he'd take us to the next level. But I think. But yeah, it's just like no. I'd rather not sign him.
Yeah. All right, we'll put him in no thanks. So that is your transfer target tier list. So who have we got in unreal signing? We've got Mbeumo, Eze, Javi Sinemans, and Palhinha.
Oh, I wouldn't mind any of those four.
Yeah, exactly. And good signing, we've got João Pedro, Antoine Semenyo, Jarrad Branthwaite, Morgan Gibbs-White, Evan Ndika, Kim Min-jae, and Jan Bissek. In Wouldn't Complain, we've got Elanga, Wissa, Damsgaard, and Coney De Winter. In No Thanks, we got Tyler Dibbling, Marcus Rashford, Jack Grealish, Alejandro Garnacho, and Collins and Norgard. And in a terrible signing, we've got Nkunku and Tomori. Very Chelsea vibes in our terrible signing list.
maybe we clouded our judgment.
Yeah, but look, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Who would you put in each and every tier? Maybe as this transfer window progresses and we get linked to a lot more players, we'll do another one for you later down the line. But yeah, that is all we have for you today. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.